Hello, everyone. This is Tony Costa from Toronto Apologetics. Glad to have you along. Last December in 2021, I did a series of videos answering questions regarding Christmas and answering several charges about Christmas being pagan and that Christians should not celebrate Christmas and Jesus was not born on December 25th, et cetera, et cetera. If you're interested in watching those videos, please check them out on my channel. They're available there. And as Easter is around the corner, being April 2022, many similar charges and similar accusations arise at this time where people claim that Easter is a pagan holiday and that Easter is the name of a spring goddess and that we should not refer to the day of Christ's resurrection as Easter Sunday, but we should refer to it as Resurrection Sunday and so forth and so on. And what about Easter eggs and what about Easter rabbits and chicks and so forth and so on. So I thought that I would put forward a number of videos answering some of these similar charges that we hear around Easter time. And so what I wanted to do in this video is I wanted to address the question of the use of the word Easter. Where did the word Easter, how did it enter into the English language, and why is it actually used in some Bibles? In fact, it's actually used, it appears in the King James Version. And so we want to address this among other questions, answering, of course, the question of is Easter a pagan holiday? So let's begin by looking at a passage in the book of Acts, chapter 12, verses 1 to 4 from the King James Version. And it says, "Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hands to vex certain of the church, and he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And because he sought please the Jews, he proceeded further to take Peter also. Then were the days of unleavened bread. And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people." Now, if you look very closely at verse 4, you will notice that the word Easter appears. I've placed it in bold lettering, and it appears in the King James Version. Now, the original word that is used in the original Greek text, the word Easter, in the King James Version is translated from the original Greek word Pascha, which means Passover. And Passover, of course, is the Hebrew word Pesach, which means, again, the celebration of the Passover. So why did the King James translators translate the word Pascha, which means Passover, as Easter, since they use the word Passover in other parts of the King James Version? Well, part of the reason is that when the King James Version was put together, there were various teams of divines or theologians and scholars who translated from the Greek manuscripts and from the Latin manuscripts into English. And so this particular group translated the word Pascha here as Easter. Now, why did they do this? Why did they use the word Easter? You will notice that in other translations of Acts 12, verse 4, even including the New King James Version, they translate it as intending to bring him before the people after Passover. So notice even the New King James Version has updated that and correctly translated the word Pascha as Passover. In the NASB, New American Standard Bible, we have intending only after the Passover to bring him before the people. The NIV, New International Version, also has Herod intended to bring him out for public trial after the Passover. And the ESV, English Standard Version, has intending after the Passover to bring him out to the people. And so it's very clear that modern translations outside of the King James Version have correctly translated Pascha as Passover. But this brings us back to the question, well, why did the King James translators not just use the word Passover? And that's because the word Easter entered into the English language as a synonym or as an equivalent for the word Passover. So the source of this, the entry into the English translations of the Bible using the word Easter, comes from two main sources. The first one is Martin Luther, the Reformer. His dates are 1483 to 1546. And Martin Luther in 1522 began translating the Bible into German. And by 1545, when he had his translation published, in Acts 12, verse 4, in German, you will notice that Luther uses the German word Ostern. I've placed that in caps there for you in bold lettering. And Ostern is the German word that we translate into English as Easter. Now, why did Luther use the word Ostern? Well, this has to do with the equivalence or the synonymous nature of associating this word Easter with the Passover. And we also know that in his translation of 1 Corinthians 5, verse 7, you'll notice Luther refers to Christ there as and I've placed it in bold lettering again, he refers to Christ as Osterlamm, das ist Christus, the Easter Lamb, which is Christ. Now, I've provided you with the English translation from the ESV, where Paul says, cleanse out the old leaven, that you may be a new lump, as you really are unleavened, for Christ, our Passover lamb, has been sacrificed. Now, what you'll notice in Luther's translation is he translates the word Passover lamb and writes it out in German as Osterlamm, which is the Easter lamb. You may have heard of the term Paschal lamb, but notice Luther uses Oster, the word for Easter, the Osterlamm, which is Christ. And so it's clear that the word Easter, Oster, is coming into the English translation of the King James Version through this German word, Ostern, which the English would translate as Easter. Now, it's not just Luther that brings this word into the English language, but we also know that William Tyndale, 1494 to 1536, William Tyndale, who also translated the Bible into English, also used the word Easter. And so in Tyndale's English translation of Acts 12, verse 4, and you'll notice the English here is dated, and the English may appear a bit strange to you, but this is from the 16th century. Tyndale's translation of Acts 12, verse 4 says, and when he had caught him, that is Peter, he put him in prison and delivered him to quaternions of soldiers to be kept, intending after Esther or Easter to bring him forth to the people. So notice that Tyndale translates the word Passover into English as Esther or Easter. Now, why did he do that? Well, he did that partly because he was familiar with Luther's translation. And yet, this great English reformer who gave us the Bible in English had no problem using the word Easter in his own translation. And also in Tyndale's translation of 1 Corinthians 5, verse 7, he writes this, he translates it this way, purge therefore the old leaven, that ye may be new dough, as you are sweet bread or bread. For Christ, our Easter lamb, is offered up for us. Now remember, this is 16th century English. That's why it sounds and looks awkward to you. But it's important to realize here that even Tyndale refers to Christ here, just like Luther did. He refers to Christ as the Easter lamb who is offered up for us. And so in our English translations, you will notice that it is translated Passover lamb or Paschal lamb. But Tyndale had no problem using the word Easter lamb to refer to Christ. And this will lead us next week to discuss the reason why that is, Luther and Tyndale use the word Easter. It's not because Easter has any pagan connotations, but as we shall see, Easter is associated with the time that we call the resurrection celebration. And so I hope that this video has whetted your appetite for our following videos, where we will discuss the nature and the origin of this word and what exactly the word Easter means. And I hope that you are able to join us for that. So once again, we trust that this video was edifying to you. We hope that you like the video, and also we encourage you to subscribe to the video for many other videos like this that we will put forward. So thank you again, everyone. Until next time, God bless. Bye for now.